To me, leadership.
Is it my little pumpkin? Did you go collect the rent for Daddy? My little pumpkin's here. Oh, little pumpkin wants to play a game. Did you go collect the rent yet, pumpkin? Anybody behind on the rent? Kick him from the room, he's recording, and I don't feel comfortable speaking while somebody's recording. Kick him!
You should be my friend.
But we are friends, my little pumpkin. What do you think we're talking right now? If we weren't friends, we wouldn't be on speaking terms. Yeah, I'm playing what's called the Santoor, which is an Iranian instrument. I'm live streaming this on YouTube. If you want to watch the YouTube version, I think the
Nice.
I think the YouTube profile is I can pin the link.
Do you think I would like impress Persian women if I brought a Santor so that when they came round I could like show it to them?
Well, you'd want to play it for them. It's the sound that hypnotizes.
Really?
Yeah, it induces a powerful relaxation. I don't know if it's like more relaxing for the player. It's probably more relaxing for the player. What's interesting is your brain. It's hard to describe, but your brain basically like it activates your brain essentially, and you can actually detect it in the sense that while you're playing.
Oh yeah, when it.
I'm just saying
Sorry,
that
yeah, go on.
there's just so many variables that you stop thinking about all the variables, and you just get into like this flow state. Because there's like kind of too much to think about. There's so many patterns you can play. So really, what I'm doing is like I'm just exercising my brain. Basically, it's a percussion instrument that allows you to create like a flow state. It's like 300, $400, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I just googled it and I just ordered one.
Oh, cool. Yeah, these are
It says obviously here in
it's ASMR on steroids. All these people that do these ASMR videos, they need to get one of these musical instruments and just like delicately play it, and it's like pure ASMR, and you can play these like freak harmonics on it. Harmonics are like playing two chords at the same time, but they're like special positions. So this is the problem, my little pumpkin, with
It makes my brain feel like pleasurable. It makes me feel like orgasmic.
yeah, it's definitely a Kundalini chakra vibrator. It gets you right in the giblies. So you haven't been arrested yet for online hate speech by your local police authority? Don't you think it's weird that the police come in your house over there and ask you questions about what you posted on Facebook?
Of course it's fucking weird. I'm in England, what do you expect? It's not.
The weirdest thing is like, don't police have prioritizations? How is somebody upset about 50,000 women in burqas
So
a priority
where
over?
I live, the police have no work. The police even knock on your door and say, "Can we help you? Is there anything you'd like to report?" Nope. Bye, because there's no crime here. People are law-abiding citizens, so they just start terrorizing people because they're so bored. And like, there's a local crackhead woman who walks around our park, and she's actually really nice. Everyone gets on with her. She doesn't cause problems, but she walks around, and the police say to her, "Hey, I'll give you, tell us where this person is and that," and then she'll go out and do work for them. But she doesn't often get anything. It's really funny. All she gets is like a McDonald's occasionally, and she gets some company, I guess. Or maybe she's sucking them off, I don't know. But, yeah, there's no crime around here, really. That's why the police harass us so much, because it's actually the safest city in England. You can Google it. I'm sure you already know where I live anyway, because I've been doxxed so many fucking times.
No, I have no idea where you live.
Oh, I live in East Anglia. And there's no crime here. It's the safest place in the UK to raise children.
So there's these little stars cut into the wood, and I just go around them in circles, and then I'll reverse it as well, and it kind of creates this cool effect. And it's what's interesting about this instrument is it sounds kind of ancient, and you're from East Anglia, so it's like, do you know what the history is of all that stuff going back 2,000 years? It's crazy.
I know something. You probably know more than me.
Yeah, my
I
name.
know how things.
My name is John, so like I bought some books about King John, and when you read about the kings of England and all the shit they did in England to like the Irish, to the people in East Anglia, to Wessex, they were fighting everybody. It was so crazy, you know? Like they were fighting their neighbors like continually, and you're talking about the craziest shit ever. This one book I have about King John, I'm just like, this is so crazy. It's so crazy. Because it's literally so fucking, like, crazy. I could read you some shit, and you're just like, whoa, that's wild. Because they were literally living, yeah.
I think there's something wrong with English people, like native English people, like in their mind, like they have some kind of warrior gene, which makes them increasingly violent
No,
and
no, no.
paranoid.
What I'm talking about is they lived, like, They didn't live like Christians. They lived like
Yeah.
Romans. It was wild. They're supposedly Christians, but they were living like, because everything is like a Comic Con, you know. So the way they did their Comic Con throughout, you know, the history of England and all that stuff is so wild. It's so wild. It's pretty cool history.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for the laws in England, I wouldn't keep kicking you out of rooms. But you know, I gotta keep myself safe. Yeah, you're right about that. Absolutely insane.
My little pumpkin. So, do you view yourself as like a spammer, like a verbal spammer?
Yeah, I thought about what you said, and it's definitely a form of defiance against retarded people. I've learned to talk to retarded people a certain way, and it brings me great joy to spam them. Like, you know, because I try and talk to them about other things, and it just doesn't work. So fuck it. If you want to play this game, I can play this game, and I can win, you know?
Hmm. But don't you see the downsides of being a verbal spammer?
Yes, I do.
So how do you try to like, you know, rationalize or balance or get some type of gain out of the verbal spamming?
It's like I'm performing a social experiment on people, and I'm learning what really makes them tick. And you know what I've learned?
Hmm.
The more stupid someone is, the more evil they are. Because stupid people, all they care about is how they seem to other people, right? But people who have a little bit more intelligence, they really do care about what's right and wrong inherently. And it doesn't really matter what other people think.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. The stupider you are, the more evil you are. So there's like,
Yes.
so what that also implies is that the more wise you are, the more kind and, you know, wonderful you are. So that's one of the advantages of being an intelligent, wise person is you're not cruel. Because if you're cruel to people, you're cruel to yourself. And, you know,
Yes.
your life is not joyful. So it is amazing how it you can basically trick the mind with words in a way, but all it is like a comparison to other people's lack of words and action. So yeah, stupid people
I
don't.
think that stupid people live in constant fear, to be honest. I think they're constantly afraid. They're constantly thinking like people are going to judge them or they're going to fail. And I actually feel sorry for them because me, even if everything in my life goes wrong, I can go and chill and be happy. But some people really can't. All they have is how other people perceive them. And someone like Shuggy, for example, or someone like Lexi Gray, like their mind, if they're just by themselves, their mind doesn't really exist anymore. Their only purpose in life is to mirror someone else. And that's quite sad. I'm restricted. I'm listening to some orgasmic music.
Can you feel the vibration in your coochie?
You know, it's not in my coochie, but it's like in the middle of my brain, and it's like in the top of my spine, and it's like tingling. It's like foreplay. It's like foreplay.
This is your sensual, mystical ASMR journey from the center of your brain to the top of your spinal column, all the way down to your tuchus. We are audio vibrationally massaging your prostate, your clitoris, your tuchus at this very moment. Your kundalini's rising. Your chakras are vibrating. Your inner alignment has begun. Equilibrium is now. So, Pumpkin, I mean, what do you think about creating dopamine through talking, which is essentially spamming?
A good way to say so.
Do you play any musical instruments?
No, I don't. But I used to play guitar. But then when I was like 23, I had a seizure, right? And I thought I could still play it. So I got the guitar out and I started to play There She Goes by the Lars, but I couldn't remember. But in my head it was so strange because I thought I could play it. Does that make sense? So maybe I've forgotten. Or maybe it's the seizure. Made me incapable of playing it. It's a shame anyway.
My little pumpkin's here. Oh, look! Look, it's my little pumpkin. She's here. You know, they say when the pumpkin is boiling, you should split it.
Yes, indeed. Oh, hi, Dr. Australia.
Oh, it's my friend Abby. Dr. Australia is here.